We're good?
We're good.
Okay, sweet. Nice.
Well, welcome back to the DFP channel, everybody. As usual, I'm here with my PIC, my boo, my my Ricky Ricardo. You know, this is Robert. I'm Ryan. Welcome back to the channel, and we have a special guest. We're going to get right into it today. So we want to welcome Chelsea from Backstage Nevada. Welcome.
Welcome.
Hi.
Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us a little bit about your website, what you do. Tell everybody what you are, basically your profession.
Yeah, well, Backstage Nevada is kind of a passion project that I started. The idea kind of came to fruition in November.
Okay.
I wanted to go see more local shows and couldn't find any through any local means.
Really?
Didn't really want to subscribe to the Review Journal because it's like $4, and who has an extra $4
right.
lying around?
I can get like 8 tacos with that at Jack in the Box.
Right?
We're good.
Reached out to a few local people, and nobody was really interested. And so I found this other gal named Ella, and we decided to venture out on our own, and Backstage NV was born. And so January 15th was our publish date. And kind of our vision was to have a one-stop shop where you could find a comprehensive events calendar, not just GSR or not just the Nugget or the events, like the events center.
Yeah.
Right.
Somewhere that had like the Alturas and the Brew House and the Ranch
everything
House.
together in one spot.
Yeah, so like the events calendar was kind of like, like the precipice, or I guess the idea that Backstage NV was born around. But we also wanted like a place where local bands could be listed and venues could be listed with like honest reviews, like, are the bathrooms clean?
Right, yeah.
No.
Like,
Yeah.
right?
Some,
Like,
sometimes you don't, you don't get those anywhere. Yeah.
right?
We got
like,
a trough.
Yeah. Well,
exactly.
Yeah.
budget cuts.
Yeah. Here's a bucket.
Right. So, just a place where you could go to like find honest reviews of like venues and like businesses you could go to, like if you're looking for a producer or if you're looking for like a place where you could go and like take your flyer. So that's kind of the idea where it was born around, and we're still kind of fleshing it out and kind of seeing where it takes us. But so that's kind of the idea behind Backstage NV, and we're still kind of growing, and that's
Still
kind
in
of
its
the idea.
infancy.
Is it getting easier
is.
with like getting all the events and stuff? Because I know like Alturas puts like a monthly calendar out and stuff. Do they like send you that stuff now, or like you just reaching out?
It's still a lot of grunt work, I will
Yeah.
say. It's still us reaching out every Sunday, going through all of the different venues. So, I mean, it's still me and Ella every Sunday, and now it's kind of like going into Mondays because a lot more venues are starting to reach out and kind of sending us their flyers.
Cool.
Yeah, so I mean, it's gotten really big, and it's gotten kind of overwhelming in that respect because now we've got, so many more venues that want to participate.
Right.
So.
Well, there's a lot of room for promotion, right? Because everybody wants to promote their business, their band, their, whatever it is that they're trying to put out there. So, I mean, when you offer up like, hey, we'll promote the hell out of you, everybody's like, oh, really?
Yeah. Here's all my stuff.
Yeah. So I would say I mean, it's gotten easier in one regard, right? Because you do have a lot of those people that
Already
are reaching
out,
out to you.
yeah. Right.
But I mean, it's just created kind of a lot more work in that regard too.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Right. And so you have Ella, so she's also kind of in the back doing the design, also doing the social media stuff and helping you kind of do the reaching out and all that. So it's just two of you doing this whole thing.
Yeah. Yep. Just two of us for now.
So what came first? Was it the photography, or was it the love for music that you're in the local area, or was it like one of those, like it kind of meshed together in this sense? Like, how long have you been doing photography? Let's start there.
So I've been doing photography for a really long time, but I would say I took a very long hiatus while I lived in Elko.
Oh, okay.
I mean, my love for music spans a really long time. Like back when I was in high school, I mean, I had a promotions company when I was 16 years old,
Oh,
back
wow.
in Pahrump.
Yeah.
Oh,
wow.
Yeah, so I mean, I used to.
Pahrump?
Yeah, I know. Over
I
the
get a
hump.
lot of calls from them.
yeah, he owes money.
Probably.
Sorry, we're on air.
I mean, I was organizing concerts when I was in high school, and then moved to Elko, and that kind of died for a while. But when I moved to Reno, it was kind of like a renaissance for me, and it started with going to the cellar and asking Dennis like, "Hey, can I take photos here?"
Yeah.
And then like just really getting interested in the local music scene and like how can I give back? How can I contribute? Because I'm not a musician. I don't have the brain to like keep track of like my fingers on different strings or like I just don't have the capacity for that.
Yeah.
But I definitely wanted to be a part of the scene and I wanted to give back. And so that's kind of how Backstage NV was born. But it definitely started with photography and Dennis just allowing me
Nice.
to take photos
Yeah,
at
Dennis
Alturas.
is really cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so the photography's been around for a while.
Yeah.
And one of the things that always fascinates me about the way technology moves throughout the years and all that. We've seen just what a cell phone can do now, right? And that 20 years ago, it was nothing like it is today.
God, no.
Yeah.
And how do you feel any kind of pressure? Like I know we were talking earlier about like how Mike was like, I just decided I'm going to get a iPhone instead of getting a big old bulky camera or whatever. Do you feel a little bit like it's now becoming like, oh, people are just going to use their iPhones all the time to take pictures now? Or do you feel like it's still going to survive throughout time?
I mean, I think that there's always going to be value in a really well taken photo.
Right.
I don't think that that's replaceable.
Right.
I mean, obviously people can take really good photos with an iPhone.
Right.
I don't think that that's disputable and like they're always there. But I mean, there's always going to be value in a really well taken photo.
Right.
Like I
Right.
don't think that that's ever going to be replaced
Right.
with an iPhone.
And I've always believed that, photography's always been kind of a niche and a very, a very specific pocket of people that really appreciate it, And it's so hard to really have, like, anybody can be a photographer, but not everybody can be a great photographer.
Right. And
capture
capturing the right moment. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
Because that's literally what you're doing with a camera is you're capturing in a moment for whether it's a band or maybe people in the crowd that are enjoying themselves and they have something they can take away from that. Even if they weren't there, they can see the photos and go, man, that looked like a really great show. Looked like everyone had fun. Do you take that to heart every time you're taking photos? Is that something that's on your mind?
Yeah, absolutely. So, when I first started, it was kind of more spray and pray.
Oh,
Like
okay.
just take as many photos as you
And then
can,
pick the good
right?
ones.
And just, pick out the good ones.
Yeah.
But now I've been really conscious about capturing the right moments.
Angles.
Right. And
Yeah.
because like editing, it takes a shit ton of time.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah.
And so like I don't want to spend all of my time just, like capture like going through all of my photos and making sure like I got one or two good ones. Like I want to spend the majority of my time at a show like making sure I'm capturing like the really like the moments that matter.
Yeah.
And so I want to get really good to where I can anticipate those moments and when those moments are going to happen.
What
and
better way than going to show?
And I think
Exactly.
that
Band.
separates, somebody who's
Right.
just shooting, from an iPhone
Right,
and then
right.
capturing the,
Which is
and
also
it comes with expertise in time in that.
Yeah, yeah. Which is also different too, because you talked about how every once in a while you'll go and shoot at like the GSR or something, a bigger venue like that, and you have big bands that you're shooting for, and so you typically know their songs because that's
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's there to see that band and they know their music. But in a local scene, it's a little different. Like you're not as exposed to their music the way you are to mainstream music, so it's a little bit harder to go in there, and now you have to really do some research there too.
It's true, but I mean, I think I've gotten to the point where I've seen a lot of local bands a lot of times. Like, I've seen Fervents like 4 times now, so
Right.
I can anticipate when Stevie is going to like,
Let it out.
yeah,
Right.
like I know when her dreads are gonna come
Yeah.
out,
Yeah.
and like I
Yeah.
know when to capture those moments. So I mean, like I'm getting really good at like local bands too, and like anticipating those moments. And so that's something like I pride myself on.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, our local bands are great. Like,
Yeah.
they're
Yes,
fucking
they are.
fantastic.
Yep.
Can I say that?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Fuck yes.
I think we passed it. We didn't even.
Hey.
Oh my
Oh my
God.
God.
Cut it. We're done.
Edit
We're
that out.
done.
Edit it out. Put a fart noise in front of it.
Like, they're fantastic. Damn.
Christian channel. But so when it comes to like, picking shows, are you trying to make yourself available to try and be as many as you possibly can? Is it kind of like I can kind of do the weekend shows? Do you have like a set schedule thing that you're trying to follow?
Oh man, it's really hard because I'm also like I also have like a pretty stressful full-time job. Like
Right.
I'm an environmental consultant, so like I mean I have reports to write.
Right.
Like it's stressful. I travel a lot. And then I've got like 2 kids, and I mean it's hard. So I do what I can.
Yeah.
Right.
I have a really hard time. I mean, admittedly, I have a really hard time shooting at the Holland because I am not a flash photographer.
Oh.
No, I was
And
going to
it's
ask about
dark,
that too. Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean that's by choice. I could do flash photography, but by choice I am not a flash photographer, and so I leave that to the people who are really good at that.
Yeah.
And we partner with those people like Trevor and Ryan. So I don't catch a lot of shows at the Holland, but I mean I try to be available for everybody who would like me to be at their shows. Obviously, people who request me, I take those shows into consideration first.
Yeah.
Right.
But I do try to like make myself available for, like most bands.
Yeah.
And so sometimes you just show up to shows and
Yeah.
take the photos.
Yeah.
I'm here,
That's
bitches.
good. Yeah, right.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. That's
What,
good though.
what would you say is the biggest show you've ever gotten to shoot?
I mean, like Theory of a Dead Man and Skillet was a pretty big one. Bush was a pretty big one. I mean, as far as like sold out shows,
Yeah.
those are pretty big.
Yeah.
I mean, I've done a few shows at the Ace of Spades in Sacramento that were like
Yeah.
sold out shows.
Yeah.
So.
Nice.
Do you ever get a chance to talk with the artists too, or?
Well, we did do an interview with Vended.
Oh. Okay.
At when they were touring with Bloodywood.
Mm-hmm.
We were not very prepared to do that interview. We got the clearance to do that interview like 3 hours before the show.
Oh wow.
You're like, write some questions
Right.
down now.
Yeah.
Luckily, okay, so like I was like no questions about Slipknot. Like I was smart enough to at
Yeah.
least like have that in mind, and I did do some research in advance because I had put the question out to their PR several like days before the show. They just didn't get back to me until like 3 or 4 hours before. So I mean, I at least had some forethought, like to do some research, and I had questions, but we were just so ill prepared to actually do that interview. So yeah, we have had a chance to like talk to bands. A lot of the interaction comes afterwards.
Right.
So
Right.
I've made like a lot of really good friends with some of the bands that have toured through Reno.
Yeah.
Like after the fact, when they get the pictures and they're
Like,
And then-
holy shit.
They're like, yeah,
Yeah.
hell yeah.
yeah, and then
Fuck
so like
these Bay Area
Right.
assholes.
and then like we formed those connections, and like I mean, so like I still talk to like some of the guys in Drift who came through with Soulfly,
Yeah.
and then like Lilac who toured through with like Atreyu.
Yeah.
So like I mean, they're not like the big bands. I'm not like talking to
They're bigger.
Atreyu, but I mean I do
bigger
like
than us.
Right. Yeah.
Caesar Soto, the guitarist from Ministry, like follows me now and like
Oh, that's
chats
cool,
with me
yeah.
occasionally. So like that's kind of like my biggest follower at this
Yeah.
point. But yeah, I mean, so like a lot of those connections are formed, I guess, post show.
Gotcha. Has it always been metal, or do you kind of venture out? Is there?
I mean, I personally have always been a metalhead.
Okay.
Like I was actually, this is kind of a funny story, but I was just looking through my old yearbooks today. And like my 8th grade photo, I'm wearing a Coal Chamber shirt.
yeah.
So like I've always been a metalhead, but I have been known to go to a Casey Musgrave show. So
a little bit of variety in there.
a little bit.
And there's
I mean,
nothing wrong with that. We talk about how we have a
Yeah.
little. You don't have variety.
I do. You guys don't even know my
AC/DC, right?
no.
Everybody, if you want to make Robert's day,
Do not
send
do
him
it.
every clip you have of AC/DC.
Absolutely. Yeah, I bet you do. Cold Chamber's coming. Are you gonna go to the show?
Yeah. I mean, I got my tickets like in pre-sale.
Yeah,
you
we
were
did too.
waiting.
Yes.
Yeah.
I haven't
Yeah.
seen them. I want to. Those. It was Mudvayne and them.
Oh my God, Mudvayne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Gore and Butcher Babies.
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I really want to get photo passes for that show, but I really don't want to get pissed on.
Yeah.
Oh, right.
Right.
Like,
yeah.
I think I'm gonna bring a poncho if I get approved.
Yeah. That would be a cool one to shoot
Yeah.
though. 'Cause
Oh, yeah.
How many bands are on that bill too? Like,
Oh my God,
No
like
kidding.
the doors open at 4.
Yeah.
I hope they have like taco trucks.
I know, right? Yeah.
Sure.
Because I'm gonna be like so hungry.
Oh,
No,
they had Johnny Rockets right out there, but I think they moved it.
Yeah, they
They
moved
did.
it, but that's the point is they're not going to bring vendors like that. They're going to be like, hey, we can make a lot of money if
You're
we
right,
just
yeah.
make this one really long ass show.
Yeah.
Let's just put them over to the bar, get them
Yeah.
over to the restaurants. You know, charge them out the ass for everything.
Should at least sell like nachos or something.
Yeah, right.
I know. Can I get a pretzel?
Yeah, you'd be the guy
I would be
watching
guy.
a concert
Yeah.
eating nachos.
Yeah, dude. I'd have a flag. I'm here.
You know,
I
that
came
is
with my
it
pennant.
is not uncommon in venues and other spots to like
Yeah.
offer food. It's
Yeah.
fucking weird.
Yeah.
But
True.
it's not uncommon.
Right. Yeah.
No. You know, it's interesting because when it comes to like playing venues, you know, we've had our fair share of venues, and you were talking about reviewing the venue itself. Like, I think all of us have like our own opinion of certain places, and there's always going to be good and some bad, you know, depending on what venue it is. But I think the hardest part is I think the venues also need help for promotion too, you know, because they're trying to push people to come see these shows,
Right.
to come get these people to come watch the bands, you know, and they can only do so much nowadays. Like, we talk all the time about how so much has changed in the way we promote, and it's mostly social media driven. But there's still people out there like you going out there putting up flyers and stuff at certain places, and I feel like it's little by little dwindling down to only a handful of those places that are willing to do that, even because it's like foot traffic is not the same that it
Right,
used
and
to
they might not even know the venues that are actually, you know, putting
Right.
on shows in
Right.
town, because that's also dwindled down to almost, you know, it's especially after, you know. Yeah, I didn't want to say it.
Prove it.
I didn't want to say it.
The coof. I like that one. Okay.
The coof.
No, I think that's a big problem. I mean, that's definitely kind of been one of my pet peeves is there's a major disconnect between the promoters and the venues here. I mean, you have the promoters saying that the show is going to be one place, but then like
Oh,
it's
I know
actually
it.
like at a different venue.
right. I saw that. What,
Yeah.
I just had that
that was
happen,
just
actually.
recently. Yeah, you just had that happen, huh?
Yeah, supposed to be at VSB and moved to the ranch house.
Yep.
Yeah, so I mean that's kind of like another issue that we've got going on too is just that there's this big disconnect with the actual like venues and like the concert buyers too. So like I mean you're right. Like how do we solve this problem of getting people to shows A and
Right.
getting people to shows at the right place B?
Right.
Yeah, like how many are going to that wrong spot? You know? and
Yeah,
going, like, I thought there
exactly.
was a show here tonight.
Yeah. Well, even on top of that too, let's talk about how, you know, every band, let's be real, especially a local band, typically we're all working part-time or at least full-time jobs, right? So we have our lives outside of playing music and rehearsing and this and that. So when you book a show, you're looking for a weekend, right? And there's only so many weekends in a year to be able to try and get as many people as possible, but you're also competing with other areas that are trying to do the exact same thing. And it's like, well, why should we let all tourists, for example, take this big show on this weekend for these bands when we could get another group going and try to pull as many people? So now you get people that are torn going,
Yeah, do I
"Damn,
want
I
to go
like
to this
this
show
band
or do
and
I
I
want to
like
go to
those
this again?
bands,"
Yeah.
but it's like, I don't want to spend $30, 15 here, 15 there to go see both. Like, and you know, that's kind of the hard part is like, there are people that support and that's great. And without them, bands, photographers, businesses, none of them would be thriving in any way, shape, or form, right? Or would even have any kind of traction. So we need those people to be able to get going in any way. But the hard part is you can't go to every single one. And so that's
Yeah.
a problem too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there's been a number of those like days or weekends where it's just like, oh man, there's like 8 shows I want to go to,
Right.
and like, how do you pick?
Yeah.
How do you pick and like not be perceived as like playing favorites?
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's hard.
Because that's tough. Because let's be real, we all have like our favorite or our close friends that it's like, yeah, I gotta go see him. I see him every time,
Yeah.
you know. And
Yeah.
and whether it's because it's a bias or it's a friend, you know, like I like what they play. You legitimately like what they have to offer. It's still, yeah, it can be perceived that way, and it's like, no, I just, damn.
Yeah.
you
I
know?
still jump around. I'll just go to that one and then,
yeah.
hey, I made an appearance.
I mean,
Yeah.
and let's
I
be
wore a
honest,
nice
like
shirt.
some people are legitimately just nicer to you,
Yeah,
right?
right,
Like
yeah.
some people post your pictures more than
Right,
other bands,
right.
right?
Yeah.
Some people credit you and some people
Right.
don't.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
So
Well, yeah, and that's another thing too. So when you take photos, I mean, obviously with the way social media is, especially, like you go to a venue, you take a bunch of photos of these bands, and you're highlighting the show and this group, right? And then they go, "Oh, that's a great picture. I'm gonna make it my profile picture," but nothing. Does that get you a little bit? Or
it does, especially when it's not like a local band.
right?
I would say like our local bands are really good about it.
Yeah.
Because they know that they're gonna see me
Yeah.
again.
Right.
Like,
Like Chelsea.
yeah. But it's like these bands that come in from LA and they like, and like I see their, like my picture on their profile. It's
Yeah.
like,
And they don't give you any credit.
yeah.
Nothing.
It's
At the very
entitlement.
least. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm from LA.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's usually, it
I'm
is,
taking your photos.
it is
Yeah.
usually the guys from LA.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Typically.
usually.
Yep.
Freaking Hollywood.
Oh, even playing with those type of bands though too is
Oh
like
yeah.
you get the cold shoulder. You're like, hey, and they're like, beeline. Like,
Oh well, just
going to the
recent.
taco truck.
Well, and just recently we played a show where, I mean, don't get me wrong, like I'm all for supporting bands that have made their way and they finally get signed on a great record label, like, you know, whether it's Napalm or it's, you know, Epitaph Records, whatever it is, right? Good on you. You put in the work. You got recognized. You got a label to back you, give you a little bit of support if that's what they do at all anymore. But that doesn't give you justification to go up there on a tiny stage and just leave your drum kit up there and be like, well, we're the headliners. And
right.
it's like,
yeah.
so where the hell are we supposed to play?
Yeah, yeah.
You know?
On the
and
floor.
and
Yeah.
you get that attitude. You get that like, well, who are you? And it's like, well, who are you?
Yeah.
I don't know you. We're here to support you, dude. Like, help
Yeah.
us out, you know?
Yeah.
Sometimes that's the venue, though. Sometimes, well, especially the sound guy. Sound guy will be like, "Hey, if you're headlining the show,
Right,
put
it's
yours
at
on the drum."
convenience.
Yeah, especially
Right.
on like things like drums.
Right.
Like you're going on the drum riser.
But if
like,
you're playing a stage like Alturas, let's be real. There's not enough
No,
stage.
there's not enough
You know,
room.
room
Right.
up there
Yeah.
to backline a drum kit.
No.
Right. I mean, it's one thing to do amps. It's one thing to have your
especially
guitars
if you're
and
running
cases up
a
there.
Neil Peart drum set, dude, it's wrapped around. Yeah, there's gongs in the back.
Here's my chime set. Don't knock that over.
Right. My rototoms are over here. It's all-
But yeah, you get that attitude. You get
Yeah.
that like nose in the air, like look down upon you, and it's like, aren't we here doing the same
But yeah,
thing? Like just because you have something backing you doesn't mean that you're better than me. It
Right.
just means that we're on the same path, and you just happen to get a little bit further on that path than we have. You know, so do you see that a lot when you do like big venues?
I mean,
Because you're
no,
there
not,
and you get to kind of be amongst like the security and the stage crew and kind of for the setup, right? And you're kind of hearing chatter or no?
not particularly. Like, I feel like, I mean, every time I've kind of been in that situation, like all of those bands click pretty well.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
You ever got shoulder checked by security?
No.
No?
No. No.
I have.
Well, you're not supposed to
Just
go
for
backstage.
being
I
to
mean, I did get, I mean, one time I almost got like my helix piercing ripped out at the Alturas by like some drunk guy who tripped over me.
Oh yeah.
But that's about the
That's
closest
it.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, out there, so there's not like a cage in
No.
the front or
No,
anything.
no,
Like,
No, I mean,
No.
yeah, yeah, it's
there's
always a
It was probably
crapshoot.
Mike.
Yeah.
No, that was at like a, oh shit, what was that, like Karen or something?
Mm-hmm.
I never know how to pronounce that.
Karen.
Oh,
Karen,
Yeah,
Karen,
Karen.
that's
Yeah,
it. Yeah,
yeah,
I always want to
diva.
say Karen.
Yeah. Okay.
Every time
Karen.
I love that.
Hey, Karen. It's Karen.
Karen.
It's Karen.
Yeah.
No, those guys are really great too.
No, they're awesome.
awesome.
But yeah.
they've been around for a
Yeah,
long
they're good
time
friends
too.
of ours too.
Yeah.
I think that was like my second show.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude,
Right,
yeah.
yeah.
I was not expecting that. I was editing those photos. I'm like, my husband comes over. He's like, what the
Whoa,
fuck?
What is this guy? Got his
I think they went to a
Borat.
metal show. What
Yeah.
the hell is this?
He's like, what are you doing? Like, what are you really doing?
Yeah. Well, secretly, I go to strip clubs,
Yeah.
and
You see-
it's dudes.
Yeah.
So get over it.
Yeah, pretty much.
What are you shooting with? What equipment are you like using?
I mean, I'm a Canon shooter. I could not tell you what the body is right now. I'm the worst when it comes to like what my actual equipment is.
yeah.
But yeah,
You're like, it shoots
Canon.
photos. That's all you.
You're like, I remember the price tag,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I do, yeah.
yeah. Do you feel like is because I always give him shit, you know, being a drummer. It's like, man, you spend a lot of money
It's a lot,
on upkeeping your drums, especially when you break cymbals, unless you got like a little package deal you can get it, you know, or whatever the case may be. Are you adding on to your arsenal when it comes to cameras?
Slowly but surely. Like right now, I'm not getting paid to do any
Right,
of this.
right,
So, I mean, yes, slowly but surely. For right now, though, like I'm pretty comfortable just renting from Action Camera. Like they've got pretty sweet deals on rental like lenses.
Shouts out to Action.
Yeah,
by the
no,
way.
seriously,
Yeah.
they're the best. But I mean, for now, I'm pretty comfortable just renting what I need. In the future, I'm hoping to expand like my portfolio services for bands and just for general general photography services.
Yeah.
And then we're hoping eventually we can monetize in some way with Backstage NV. I mean, obviously, we're not going to allow venues to advertise because we want our reviews to be genuine.
Right.
So we have to find a different way to monetize that's not venue based.
Gotcha.
Right.
Yeah.
But I mean, eventually, when we start looking for ways to monetize and when we start moving in that direction, hopefully, I'll be able to expand that arsenal. a little
Right.
bit.
Right. So you're looking to do other like weddings and stuff?
No,
or like
I don't.
Bar mitzvahs. Or...
Yeah, I don't want to do. I
She's
don't.
like, I puke at weddings.
I hate weddings.
Yeah.
I hate brides. I don't hate brides.
I don't blame you.
I don't want to do weddings particularly because I don't have the capacity to deal with brides.
Right. Yeah.
I'm not a patient person,
Right.
and I will tell somebody to fuck off. Real quick.
Yeah.
That would be. I would hire you just for that.
Well, and I was telling these guys too, because me and my wife just got married back this last September.
Oh, congrats!
Oh, thank you. So when we did the wedding and we were sending out the invites, we were telling everybody, hey, leave your phone in the car. We paid for a photographer. We want them to do their business. Come in here. Because again, we appreciate photographers. My older sister, she's a photographer down in St. Petersburg. I know a lot of people. We've had Eric Marks on here, and we love what people do behind the camera because, again, like I said, you're capturing a moment for everybody, and maybe it's a night that they go, we didn't play that well, but it was fun, or at the very least, maybe it is something that's like, I'm so glad I have pictures from this night. It's such a revered, thing to capture a moment because it's old school, because it's like people used to have pictures of everything. I know my mom. I was over there recently, and she was like, "Oh, look at this!" And she opened up her little curio cabinet. She's got one of those tubs of photos, and it's like you don't see that anymore. That's not a thing anymore.
Bunch of dick pics.
Hey, those were at the bottom. She was courteous. She put them at the bottom. But you don't see that anymore. And even when people do take photos, they either stay on a hard drive or they go up to the cloud. And it's like, you don't get that finished product almost. It's like recording an album and just throwing it straight on Spotify and not having something physically to hold.
Or not
to say,
releasing it.
We made it. Yeah, or that.
Yeah.
I blame you.
Yeah,
Anyway.
It's not my fault. My tracks were done.
Yeah, valid. Mine too. But otherwise, do you have you ever done like photo developing?
Like with film?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how I started actually. Back in high school.
Yeah. Photography class.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, I started photography with film. My first ever concerts that I did photography with were film. Actually, the very first concert that I did photography for was Mushroom Head, and that was all
Really?
film that I hand developed myself. So
No
Wow.
kidding.
yeah, and I was in high school,
Yeah.
so I did it in my like high school photography lab.
You still got all those too?
No.
Oh.
I know.
That would've been
No.
cool. That
I
would've been
know
cool
that
to
would
see.
be so cool.
Yeah.
I still have the photo pass,
Yeah.
but
Oh,
I
you
don't
kept
have.
that.
I have
I
yeah,
did.
yeah.
Yeah.
Kept
I
the
was
lanyard.
there. I took the photos.
Yeah, yeah, no, that. Oh my God, that was such a cool show.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah, and I got to go like backstage for that show and like hang out with like 40 Below Summer and because 40 Below's, I mean,
Yeah.
they're really obscure and like probably not very well known
Right.
now,
Yeah, yeah.
but like that was a sweet show.
Where'd they play at?
It was at the House of Blues in Las Vegas.
Oh, okay.
yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Yeah, I just watched Nine Inch Nails there actually. Last-
You know, I watched Nine Inch Nails when I was like 21 at the Joint back when that was a thing at the Hard Rock.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
And he threw his microphone into the crowd and it landed in my face.
Oh.
Oh my
Yeah.
gosh!
No,
I'm
and
taking
this. I didn't know what it was at first, and I remember just like going to the ground because something like hard just hit my face, right?
Right.
And, like bringing it up, putting it in my pocket, realizing what it was, and it got confiscated.
Oh really?
Yeah, because it wasn't his to give.
Oh, because it was the
pissed.
it was the
That's
venues.
venue
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
God, could you
I
imagine?
was like, let me
like,
take the
how
cap at
cool
least.
that would be
Yeah.
to have like
Just let me
Trent
smell it.
Reznor's
Yeah.
microphone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I know.
Yeah.
I even told them that, and they were not intimidated by like
They're like,
21-year-old
okay,
me.
we got it. Lawyers on speed dial.
I know.
Do you? Because I know, off camera, we were talking about how you a lot of times with like the bigger venues, like the GSR or something like that, you typically get like a lot of Bay Area people.
Yeah.
So talk about your frustration with that, because I mean I can see why that's super frustrating when you're doing a local show or it's a one in town and you're the local photographer and
Yeah.
here's all these assholes from the Bay Area coming in to swoop in and take the venue.
Taking your shot. and stuff.
Exactly. So, I would say like it's usually just me as like a local photographer or myself and Jason from Stink Eye.
Oh yeah.
So like usually it's just either myself or him together working the photo pit and several people from the Bay Area. And that's always how they introduce themselves. Oh yeah, I'm from the Bay Area.
Right, like it's a entitlement thing.
Yeah, it's never like, oh yeah, I'm from San Fran or like Oakland. It's I'm from the Bay Area.
Yeah.
And they're
Still
always
small
better
shit.
than you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they yeah, and the first question is, what are you shooting with? And
Right.
I feel like when that's the first question out of the gate, it's always like a pissing contest, right? It's like basically asking you like, how much money do you have? Or like,
Right.
How
much have you invested in your business?
exactly.
Now I feel bad for asking.
No. It's not. Because that
You're
wasn't
not
your
shooting photos.
that wasn't the
fucking
first question, right?
Right,
Like,
that
we-
was I waited till
like
we
we
were-
you actually like asked my name
Right,
first,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like
Where are you from? Where you
Right,
get-
yeah.
yeah.
Which is
And you and a lot of times they're not even actually shooting for a publication. Sometimes they are, but usually it's like, yeah, I'm friends with the band.
Oh yeah.
Sure you
You're
are.
like,
Cool.
okay.
That's
you are.
cool.
He's like,
You know.
I'm done.
Like I legitimately had to like I
like,
legitimately
fucking
had to
cool.
like build a website
Yeah.
and maintain it
Right.
and publish an events calendar. So
Yeah.
you know, cool.
Right.
Good on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um
Have fun
but
at your
yeah.
wedding.
Yeah, no, it's usually like I would say like 4 people from the Bay Area that come in and they steal our shows.
Yeah.
And it's because I think that they anticipate that there's going to be lower attendance and easier access at a Reno show. And they know that there's going to be a lot of people applying for the Bay Area shows as far as like PR goes. And so they're
Right.
like, okay, well, I'll just drive to Reno
Right.
because not a lot of people are going to apply for a show
Right.
because
Gotcha.
we don't have as many press outlets here.
Yeah.
And so
Zero.
Well,
Literally,
yeah.
I mean, mean like us.
Well, yeah, but that's the thing
Yeah.
is like that we're in the same business.
Yeah.
What we're doing and what you do, we're in
Yeah.
the business of promoting other people, their businesses, what they're trying to go and accomplish. And you know, it's so frustrating because it's like even if you just lived in a place like maybe even Sacramento, which definitely has a much bigger populace, and even then you'd have a far bigger reach. And so that's kind of the weird thing is like as much as Reno's growing, you're not seeing the growth in the areas that it should be growing in, like promotional things, like you know, like we have the RGJ, and even then it's kind of like
Because we lost the Reno
they
Tahoe
focus,
too, I think.
yeah, and they kind of focus a lot more on like the local like art town and this and
Yeah,
that, which
yeah.
is great and
Right.
all. But it's like, well, what about these other things that are going on within the community?
Right.
It's almost like they don't know the community.
Yeah, well, I mean, initially, initially I approached Reno like News and Review, and I said, hey, I want to do this. Like, I have a background in doing this. Like, I could do concerts professionally.
Right.
Can I do this for you guys? And they said, you know, we really just have no interest in doing like concert reviews or photos from events that have already passed. And I'm like, review is literally in your name.
Right. Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Like, when I was younger, the reason I picked up publications like yours was to see concert pictures.
Right.
I wanted to see pictures from concerts that I went to relive that, like to relive that.
Right.
Or to see like pictures from concerts that I didn't get to go to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's that was kind of another impetus of why I wanted to just do my own thing. But yeah, no, you're right. Like we have not grown in that space. And so that's another reason why I wanted to create this space. But yeah, like it is frustrating to see the Bay Area kind of infiltrating our publication spaces for their use. And while it's okay for now, what I see happening is this becoming a trend, and them filling up all of the spots.
It becomes
Right.
more
And
Before we
wiping out
even get a
any
chance.
local.
Yeah.
To
pretty
actually
soon
get in
you're
there.
going to be turned away every
Right.
time you
Yeah.
go up there. Hey, I'm a local, and they're like, nah, no.
Yeah,
we already
I
had-
mean,
it's
there's
already full.
there's only like so many spots in that photo pit.
Yeah.
So
How many? I'm curious how many are actually allowed in there, because it shouldn't. Like when I go to shows, I don't see too many. I mean, there's like one or two, maybe like on
Yeah.
the sides, you know.
I mean, it's show to show. I would say there's probably, that there's probably space for 8 at the GSR.
You are right. Yeah, I mean,
That's a far
that's a
bigger
big
stage,
stage.
yeah.
too.
Yeah. I mean, it's a pretty massive stage, but you have to consider that the bands are also bringing their own people too, so you have to
Right.
kind of account for them too. The brew house is a little bit differently. Like, they haven't been putting up their barricades lately, and so getting a photo pass, I've been able to get photo passes from them before, but like I'm 5'2", so finding a place to shoot there
Yeah.
is a challenge.
You get the
And they
6'8" fucking bald dude.
Right, yeah.
Right in
Yeah.
front of you, like,
And then
Exactly.
not-
Well,
yeah.
and the stage is taller than I am, so like even when I'm like up at the front, I get like the drunk chick like spilling her drinks all over me, like with her ponytail and like her phone right in front of me.
Yeah.
You know, so it's hard for me to get a good shot with good lighting. Sometimes, depending on who's the security, like they'll let me into like the VIP area.
Right.
But if I don't have the right lenses, then I get shit shots.
Right.
So
Right.
like it's just like it depends.
yeah.
Yeah.
So
I wonder why they took the barricades out of there, though.
it's hit or miss. Like sometimes they have them. Like for Static X, they had them.
Yeah.
For Bloodywood, they didn't. For Atreyu, they didn't. Like
Huh.
it's hit or miss.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's just depending on the band.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
yeah,
wonder.
like
Yeah, because when we did the Unveil the Strength show at BSB, which was like a Thursday or something like that.
Yeah,
It was
it
in the
was-
middle of the week.
yeah.
And I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, yeah, if you're coming through town, come through town. But you know, sometimes you're not able to get a lot of ticket sales. But when we went there, they used the barricades, but only to allow people to walk from the front door, from the street, and then into like where the tables were. And it was like
weird.
So it's like a guard, like
Yeah,
a
like, what
velvet
is this?
rope,
Right,
Like,
yeah, it was a-
okay, like get rid of them.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
but I and maybe it is based on ticket sales. Maybe it is on attendance. That might.
I don't know. I mean, Atreyu was packed.
interesting.
Yeah, Atreyu and Bloodywood was
Well,
packed.
I think, especially at VSB, I think they can kind of get away with it with the height of the stage as it is naturally, because it is way higher than most, smaller venues. Or,
It's the highest stage, and I think.
I mean,
than
I don't.
anyone in here.
I was up front at the GSR for who was it? It was Skid Row. And this was, a couple years ago when they were playing, and it was still kind of like, everybody social distance, right? And so it was like, and he's like, we're all family here. Everybody get down here. And me and my wife are like, let's go.
Right,
They
yeah.
went straight up front. And even then, that was like right here.
Yeah, because they had the tilt on it. It
it's
wasn't all the way up.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess maybe for there it wouldn't be that big of a deal unless maybe the band asked for it. Maybe that's why.
The GSR. So when I shot like Theory of a Dead Man, Bush there, the GSR, I felt like the stage was pretty high. But like when I shot Ministry there, everybody was like seated, like it was a seated configuration, and I had to like. Yeah.
Wow, that's so.
Clearly,
like,
they
I
don't know
even-
their audience.
Like I even had to like text their tour manager, and I'm like, is this right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I basically had to, because I wasn't allowed to obstruct anybody's view, and I'm like, I'm 5'2", like that's not very hard.
You're right.
But I basically had to like squat the whole time. I was like taking
Right.
photos. It was rough.
Well, and don't get me wrong. Like I can understand you're gonna go see Earth, Wind, and Fire, right?
Right, yeah.
And don't get me wrong. They get down.
Oh, yeah.
But if you're gonna go see them, typically the crowd's a little bit older, right? So they're like, we've standing, we're set. And so I can understand having a lot more seating arrangement
Yeah.
for that kind of set. But to go see a heavier band, a more current, it's like everybody's sitting down. I always wonder what it's like for the band to go out there and be like, everyone's sitting. Right?
Most of the time, you can't see the audience. I mean, you've been up there,
Well,
where
yeah.
you've been on those venues, and the lights are just like right in your
Yeah,
face. You
yeah.
can't see anybody out there.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Was he?
Yeah.
Jumped out, huh?
No, he was
Walked out.
in it. Yeah.
Really? That's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's
No,
awesome.
I was like right there watching like these girls like trying to grope him. It was pretty. That's funny because like I actually have a picture.
Yeah, I know. That would be like.
I have a picture of Gavin Rossdale's booger.
Oh.
And
Zoom
like,
in.
I mean, I did not submit it to his PR because I imagine that Gavin's pretty vain.
Right.
Yeah.
But like my girls love it.
No.
It's their favorite. Like
Getting it blown up.
it's a very high resolution.
This is our new album cover.
I'd have him sign it. Next time he comes in, you should have him sign it. The really good booger
Yeah.
picture.
Yes, for sure.
Oh man. So, is there a little bit about you? Is there any other kind of like genres or music that you listen to also other than metal, or is it just that?
I mean, I really like house music.
Yeah.
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 No, I love house music. I mean, like Skrillex.
Well, we were just talking about it.
Just talking about that.
I mean, when Skrillex first came out, that was, oh, man. And like I said, Casey Musgraves. Like I have been known to go to a Casey Musgraves show. Oh man, what else? When I'm really stressed out, I was telling someone this the other day. When I am really stressed out, or like when I have like a hard deadline coming out at work, I will put on like the rockabye versions of like rock albums.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Cause that shit slaps.
Really? I didn't even know that was
Yeah.
a thing. I'm gonna have to look into
Yeah,
this.
it's like lullaby versions of your favorite rock songs. And my favorite is like the Muse versions. Like the Muse
Yeah.
lullaby songs. Those are the
Yeah.
best.
Oh, I'm gonna have to. Yeah. I know.
Yeah. How do you?
It's
rock
like-
lullaby.
Rockabye Baby, I think, is like the artist. But like,
Uh-huh.
yeah, like,
Oh. So is it covers?
yeah.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, they're like
okay,
lullaby covers
Okay. Okay.
of rock songs. But yeah, I mean, I listen, and I mean, I really like drum and bass, like Lamb. Lamb is really good, like Tricky. But yeah, I like music that you can just like zone to.
Right.
Yeah.
What was your first concert?
Bush, when I
Bush
was
was
12, yeah, for when they were supporting Razorblade Suitcase.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow. Where did you see them at?
I saw them at the Thomas and Mack Center in Las Vegas.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Are you originally from Vegas?
I'm originally from Pahrump.
Pahrump.
Oh,
Yeah,
Okay.
yep.
Okay. So originally from Pahrump.
Yep.
So you travel to Vegas
Yeah.
since it's not very far.
Yeah.
So you went and saw a lot of venues and shows there.
Yeah. Yeah. My first concert was Bush. My first backstage experience was Linkin Park because I actually promoted them back before they were even Linkin Park. They used to be called Hybrid Theory.
Which came from
Was
the
that
album.
the album?
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
they got signed, they changed the name
Yeah.
when they were doing the recording.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So because I had promoted them for such a long time, they actually rewarded some of their early promoters with backstage access to their show. So
Oh, that's cool.
yeah, that was a really cool experience. And I mean, I didn't know what a backstage pass looked like. So when I went to go pick up my tickets at Will Call, because I got to see a ton of shows for
Yeah.
promoting, went to go pick up my tickets at Will Call, and there was this really cool like vinyl sticker with it. And I was like, oh, this is cool. And so I asked the security guard what it was, and he like shunted us backstage.
He's like,
I was
just go.
like,
This is
God, this is the
awesome.
best thing ever.
Yeah.
So
How'd you get back here? A bumper sticker.
Right, yeah.
yeah, exactly. Man, I wish I still had like some of those like cassette tapes of Hybrid Theory because I could like retire.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Cassette.
Yeah, cassettes. Yep.
God, I don't think I own any cassettes anymore.
Yeah.
Well,
I
it's so sad because like
have an Elephant
Yeah.
Rifles cassette.
you have an elephant rifle cassette.
Uh-huh.
Look at you.
I know.
I'm so proud of yourself.
I know I
He's
am.
like, uh-huh. Yeah.
Nope.
But isn't that sad because it's like, like over here in the corner of the garage, I have all kinds of CD covers that I wanted to turn into like a wallpaper, but unfortunately thumbtacks are a pain in the ass. But
In the wind.
yeah, and the wind. But it's such a sad thing because there's so much to offer inside of an album cover. And, bands can go crazy with it and have like this elaborate, like, collage of band photos and it's something maybe artistic or whatever. And now it's like nobody takes the time to do that anymore
No.
because it's all streaming.
Yeah, I totally like lament CDs.
Right.
Like just the excitement of going to the record store and getting the CD and looking at the album art and just I totally miss that. Like
do
I
too.
was one of the last adopters of digital music.
Yeah.
And I will never get rid of my two massive like cases of
Yeah.
CDs. Like I will always have those.
Yeah.
Still in the case. You got the sleeve. Like,
I do, yes.
yeah. Where you're just flipping through the book.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. I
Oh,
will
man.
I will never get rid of those.
I got so many scratch CDs just from like trying to drive and like put them back in.
Where'd
Like,
that go?
oh, I got it. I still got that. Yeah, I still have it. Yeah.
Was that 10,000 Days or Lateralis?
Ladder. No.
I think it was Lateralis.
Nope. I think it was 10,000 Days.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure it was actually.
Google search.
Yeah, we'll have to look that up. Yeah. Yep.
Was that it?
Yep. And you can move it and yeah.
Oh no, you're right. But yeah, it's cool that we're getting better with technology because it also helps you with what you're doing because you're getting new lenses, new cameras, new everything to kind of help capture a better photo over and over again, right? The longer you go, the more it's going to evolve and it's going to get better. But then there's also the flip side where it could go the other way, where it's actually making us lazier or it's diminishing what we used to value, like artwork or something like that. Or even lyrics, right? Even
Right.
that, just to be able to say that you opened it up and read it,
Right.
Yeah.
if you read it.
Yeah, no, actually,
Yeah.
a friend and I were
ChatGPT,
actually just
thank you,
talking
and
about
all that
that. There's like, we were talking like, it's a shame that kids these days can just Google the lyrics for Seal's Kiss from a Rose. Because like,
Honestly, you had to sit there. You recorded
Yeah.
it on a boombox,
Yeah.
on a tape. And if you're lucky, you had the one where you could burn it onto a CD.
Yeah.
But we had the tape cassette. You
Yeah.
record, play it on the
Yep.
radio. and stopped right before the DJ was about to talk, anticipated, but then you played over again.
I hated when they would come in earlier before the song even ended.
Yes.
And you're like, you ruined it. Like, the end part was the best, and now you have to talk and put your little fucking...
Or when they wouldn't shut the fuck up when it started, and you're like, God damn it, I'm recording.
Oh, by the way, don't forget, we have your tickets for the rodeo this weekend.
Sunday. Like,
Son of a bitch.
yes.
That's it. They better play this at like 12 o'clock tonight, because I swear that DJ's quiet as fuck. Okay, you gotta wait till midnight.
Those were always the best times to go out, like really
honestly.
late at night.
Yes.
Yeah.
I know our local radio station, they used to do the local lick, and it was always weeknights at like 10 or something like that.
Yeah.
And every once in a while you'd catch like a local band and they'd submit a little, demo CD or something like that to the radio station, and that's how you could hear local bands. That's
That's
how I learned about Dark Carnival.
Yeah.
That's how I learned about them.
Nevermute got played on a bunch of times too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was. I think Shane Whitecloud was.
Yeah,
doing
he was
that.
a big proprietor.
Yeah.
Him and Chris Payne on Rock 104.5.
Yeah, Chris Payne was always good at that too.
But it's like we have a lot of people that are within the community that are willing to grow it, and they're willing to put in the effort like you are. I mean, you're putting in the grind, right? We just took
fantastic.
5 months off and are just now getting this thing back up and running. But I mean, we did do a lot of renovations, so we were like, all right, we're done with the table. Let's open it up a little bit. So I mean, we had a vision, and we're still trying to stay true to what we originally started this for anyway.
Yeah.
But what do you think it takes to kind of grow from where we are now? What's your opinion?
I think it just takes a lot of people who are willing to put the effort in. Like you said, I think it takes a lot of people who are willing to tell the people, God, let me rephrase this.
Okay.
Like, there are a lot of people out there who keep saying the Reno scene is dead.
Yes.
Right.
Like, fuck those people.
Yes.
You know what I mean? The people who say that are the reason.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it takes a lot of people who are willing to put in the effort and say, no, it is not dead, and this is why.
Right.
Like, there are a lot of good people out there, like you guys, and, like us, who are willing to put in the work and the effort to say the scene is not dead. There are a lot of good people. We have a lot of good bands. We have a lot of good things going for us, and it just takes a little bit of love and effort to get it, started and going.
Yeah, and we don't need your negativity. And
Right,
right.
Yes, COVID did put a kink in things, right?
Yeah.
Like, there is no doubt about that.
Right.
COVID. Yeah.
COVID. Yeah.
The vid.
Yeah.
But, let's make it great again.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Get my hat.
I mean,
Make Reno great again.
I truly, I lived in Elko. I have seen a dead scene.
Yeah.
Right.
I have lived it. And Reno is
we were just there last month.
Yeah, Reno is nowhere near dead.
No.
It's fantastic here.
Yeah.
Right.
We have everything it takes to have an amazing scene. Let's just not slobber all over ourselves.
Right.
And let's work together to build it up. It just takes a little bit of perseverance.
Yeah.
And grind, you
Yeah.
said. It just takes a little bit of work.
Yeah, and if everybody got together, there's more and more people together.
Yeah,
I
for
think,
sure.
I think the hardest part is we've mentioned in the past before about the what is it? The nickname for Reno is the biggest little city in the world, and a lot of times, and especially for guys like us who have been born and raised here, it feels like a small town a lot of times. I think we can go anywhere and run into somebody clear across town that we know, and you're like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Or it's small world. You're always saying that because it's
Yeah.
how in the fuck did I run into you here or whatever, right? Or you find a connection somehow, right? And that was kind of what led us on this path for this of all the connections with bands and how everybody got started and this and that. And that's kind of what developed this idea for this podcast. But I think a lot of it too is because it's not quite a Sacramento, Los Angeles, Vegas even. I think it's because it's still as small as it is, but it's not huge. It's still big, but I think it's still very diverse. I think that's part of the problem because there is a very big country following out here. We have Night in the Country out in the desert.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every year, and that brings a lot of people.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are from the area. So it's not like Burning Man where people from all over, the country are driving here to ride their bicycles naked.
Right.
It's it's a pocket of people that appreciate this kind of music, and they go out there to enjoy Jason Aldean or whoever's playing out there. And I think there is enough people that support metal in general, but even then, I think there's still not enough backing in general, like public, in the way the music is, right? Because I think there is still a lot of, and I just had this conversation with a coworker about, what do you guys do at your concerts? Do you guys dance? I'm like, I mean,
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, kind of, yeah.
It's a dance. I mean, there's people who do the two-step
Right,
in. There's people that, circle pits are kind of like a dance. I was like, it's more like, like when you see traditional, like, Samoan warriors when they do the haka.
Right, yeah.
It's kind of like that. But it's to music, and it's heavy, but it's fun.
Yeah.
And it's like, I was trying to explain to her, like, yeah, people mosh, and every once in a while, you will get that dickhead.
The windmill?
Out there to just...
The windmill guy?
Oh my God.
They're just there to fuck people up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? They're just there to do that, and that's their mission.
How's my
and fuck
boot
those
smell?
guys. Fuck those people.
Yeah.
Right? Because, I'm like, they're like, what if somebody falls? I'm like, yeah, pick them
Yeah,
up.
pick 'em
Everybody
up.
Yeah.
stops, and they go,
Everybody's
"Oh, you
pretty good at that here. I
Yeah,
haven't
for
seen
sure.
anybody,
Back to
like, hit the ground and nobody pick them up.
Right.
Everybody's usually, like, right on them.
Right.
Like, get out of there.
And I think that's what's really cool about our community is we're all there to have a good time.
Yeah.
And we understand that, you get into the pit, you're going to have some fun. Maybe you get a little elbow on accident, but it's not on purpose typically, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's just, hey, we're all having fun here. We're moving and grooving. And I'm sure, like you were saying, every once in a while you get
That
one
drunk
person,
guy.
"Ah!"
That drunk guy who's dripping on
try
you.
to use you as a hold up,
Yeah.
come here. Thanks.
Yeah.
But so obviously there's a mentality issue, right? It's people think it's dead, and I agree with you 100%. I don't think that the scene is dead. I think it's still.
I think it's still growing, too.
Growing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and we get, there's more and more people moving in all the time. So
Yeah.
I think it's just time will tell.
Yeah.
And we'll get more people in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree. Like we had like a huge influx of people.
Yes.
I mean, we see that from just housing prices, right?
Right,
like,
right, yeah.
obviously, people are moving in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
You're
let's
moving
embrace
here,
them.
Get
Yeah.
your ass to the fucking show.
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
But, like, we have to, I mean, that's kind of like where I came in, like, with Backstage NV. Like, they can't find the shows.
Yeah.
So, like, let's help them find the shows.
And unless you're like friends with somebody
Yeah.
who's posting that stuff all the time, and it's like, oh, okay, I saw a flyer, right?
Yeah.
That's why I was like, it's perfect. Like,
Yeah.
you guys are posting the flyers, you got the calendar, it's.
Yeah.
We-
Yeah.
She said something that kind of goes with this earlier. Her first shows, she was in high school.
Right.
Yeah.
Shows,
Where's all the
where are the
all ages
under 21
shows?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you're still-
no.
young ones in here?
You're
And it's
still-
memories, so they stick with it.
That is huge. Like, that is something that I would like to really focus on, because really the only places that have all ages shows are GSR and the Holland.
Right.
That's it. Like, why can't VSB be all ages?
Right.
Yeah.
Why can't the Ranch House be all ages? Is it because they only have a bar license? Like, I mean, those are items that I would like to personally spearhead, because
Right.
I mean, I was seeing shows when I was 12, and if I
Yeah,
didn't have exposure to those shows, I don't
Right.
know that I would be this person
Yep.
today.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, that's huge. I mean, Reno does not have all ages shows, and
No.
it sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we used to have a lot more.
A lot more. And every once in a while you'll have like that punk band that'll go do something at the skate park, or like the skateboarding event, or like the Beard Fest, right? And
Right.
you got that deal going on. What, August?
I think it was in August. Or
August?
June.
June.
Yeah.
So literally in a couple weeks. Jesus Christ.
I know. Oh my God.
But and every once in a while you'll get lucky, but even then it's like like I said, you know, like you were saying, you went to shows when you were 12. I think my first metal show, I was 15, 16, and we had a venue called the New Oasis, and yeah, they had a bar, but
they roped it off, so you
but
couldn't.
it was like you had to go up a couple little steps, and then you were in the bar, and it's like, okay, I get that maybe it's because of the way it's set up, but let's talk about Alturas, right? Alturas, the bar is upstairs,
right.
like literally
Yeah.
above the stage. How is it that we're not able to make that you know, there's got to be a way, and maybe it's just.
I think
like
you're right. It has something to do with the licensing.
Yeah,
and everything.
maybe, and I agree. I think there definitely needs to be more opportunity to grow with, you know, because I don't know, like I support, like I have 3 boys, and they love music too. And they're getting into things, and we're taking them to their first concert in Sacramento in July to go see Falling in Reverse. They've been obsessed with Falling in Reverse.
Oh, yeah.
My wife loves Ronnie Radke, and she's like, "We gotta go!"
Wait,
right?
is that
So we're like,
at
"Okay."
Ace of Spades?
No, I gotta.
I don't think it'd be
I don't
at
think
Ace of
so.
Spades.
Yeah, because I don't.
I gotta check. I think it's an outdoor.
That's 21 and
venue.
over. I think.
I think it's an outdoor deal.
No,
No.
no.
I gotta find out. But anyway, you know, it's like I want these kids to be exposed to that too.
Yeah.
You know, whatever it may be. If they wanted to go see Eazy-E when he's like, you know, 70 and he wants to come through Reno, they're like, "Hey, I've been listening to Eazy-E and all that." It's like, okay, go, let's go. You know,
He's dead.
but
Yeah,
you know,
he's dead.
or whatever. You know what I mean?
You mean Ice Cube?
I mean, my 7-year-old went to go see
That's the one.
Theory of a Dead Man when they came through, and like Skillet. Like,
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and I just want them to be able to have the same experiences that we.
yeah,
you
no,
know,
I
to be able to
I
say,
agree.
hey, I remember when I was like,
Especially on
middle
those
school.
smaller venues, like where
Yeah.
you're like
Yeah.
really close to the band. You know.
Oh yeah.
Because my first show was AFI, 1996, 97, right when the All Hallows EP came out.
Oh yeah.
And they were still the like goth punk style and everything before they.
That
went-
was the Davey Havoc.
Dude, that was the you know, this was the last stretch of Davey Havoc before it went the emo route.
Yeah.
And all that, which, don't get me wrong, they made great success for themselves. Good
Yeah.
for them, and I still listen to them to this day. But it was at the old Delmar station, right before they shut down. And my sister, if it wasn't for knowing Chris Payne and having him be as like a friend and all that, she was able to get me into that show.
Right.
Because it was a 21 or over show. And that was my first experience. And I was like, I want to do this all the time. And so after that, it was like, I want to go to another one. I want to go to another one.
And that's why Delmar Station is no longer.
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
it's my fault.
I mean, I remember driving. I remember driving to like Opeth and Lacuna Coil, like sneaking out of the house and driving to that when I was like 16. Like I can't imagine like not having those experiences. Or I wasn't 16, I was like 17.
Yeah.
Because I was just about to graduate high school. But I mean, like I got knocked out in a Soulfly concert when I was like 16. Like, you know, like I can't imagine not having those all ages
And those
shows.
are great
Yeah.
stories
Yeah.
to have. You know,
Yeah,
those are
it's-
things that you take with you forever.
Yeah, for sure.
I hope we get a venue, dude.
Dude, we should. I know. I totally agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, and if you get the right, I think a lot of it too, and we talked about the promoters, right? The disconnect. And it's like, you know, you got to find the right kind of promoter that's willing to put in the same kind of effort, the same kind of work to generate, you know, people wanting to go see shows and bands that want to be there and play. Because, you know, I listen to like Joe Rogan and stuff like that on Spotify. And he was talking to Carrot Top, I think is the one I was watching. And he was like, "Have you ever played Reno?" He's like, "Oh, yeah, I've played Reno." And Joe's like, "Yeah, I've never played Reno." I'm like, "Why the fuck not?"
Right, yeah.
You know, it's like Vegas, but I mean, if you go to Vegas, come to Reno.
It's
like
feral Vegas.
Right,
Exactly,
yeah.
it's feral, but there's still people that want to see shows like that. It's
Yeah.
like, dude, you know, and there's a lot of people like that just go, "Oh, yeah, I guess I've never played Reno. I don't know," you know. But it's like, why not?
Yeah, why not?
What's the turnoff there? You know,
Yeah.
Right.
it just makes you wonder. Like, what have we done wrong? Do we need to kick some people out?
That's a long list.
Is that our? Did we fuck up
Yeah.
somewhere along the line? Do we need?
I think so. I think we have a bad rep, but that's
We
probably like
do.
an off-air conversation.
No,
Yeah.
we can talk about that. But otherwise, Where do you see your? I mean, you were talking about getting monetized eventually at some point. What are some avenues that you're seeking aside from trying to get into more venues and have them bring you in? What are some other things you guys are pursuing?
I mean, we are definitely recruiting so that we can, so that we can bring some other things on the table. I think initially we didn't expect the response that we got, and so we were hoping to grow a lot bigger, faster than we have been. But I mean, it's great that we've had such a positive response.
Yeah.
But we just don't want to grow for the sake of growing and be really shitty.
Right.
But I think we would like to bring all of Nevada on. We would like to bring like Southern Nevada bands and venues on, which is something we wanted to do initially. But right now we're just really focusing on Northern Nevada.
Right.
Some other things that we would like to do is we would like to host shows. We would like to, have shows at the Cellar or even bigger shows. We are trying to bring a show on later in the fall with some local bands and possibly some vendors. So that's something that we have in the works. We're hoping that we will be celebrating about 1,000 followers at that time.
Nice.
Yeah, so we're pretty excited about that. We are tracking in that direction, so hoping that that comes to fruition. So, I mean, those are just some of the things that we have in the works. And then, hopefully we'll be doing more interviews with bands coming to town. So, I mean, those are just kind of some of the things that we have in the works. Also, just hoping to expand, into Sacramento and Boise and some of those areas as well, as far as like photos and interview opportunities go.
Yeah.
So just kind of hoping to expand that base and hoping to recruit people so that we can build the site into
Backstage
what we
West
need it to be.
Coast.
Yes, yeah. Well, we left it kind of intentionally vague when we named it like Backstage NV.
Right.
Because like the connotation can go two ways. Like our social medias are Backstage Nevada, but the site itself is just Backstage NV, so that it can kind of just have that ambiguity attached.
Right.
Yeah.
And the beauty is you can update it any way you want.
Exactly. Yep.
What was I going to say? Oh, should we do...
You wanted?
Rushmore?
I was wondering if we're gonna do it or not.
While we're on the subject, what are the socials? What's the website?
Yeah.
Yes.
Plug
Okay.
it. Plug it.
Okay,
Plug
so-
it. Look right into that bad boy.
All right,
and
the
tell
website-
these motherfuckers what to do.
Yeah.
All right, go to www.backstagenv.com. That has the full events calendar, the venue listings with ratings, and the complete artist listing for Northern Nevada. If you don't see your site, or if you don't see your band or your venue on there, hit us up. We have all of our contacts on there. The Facebook is just Backstage Nevada. Search for it. And then the Instagram is Backstage Nevada, one word.
Right. And if you have, when you hit up the website, if you're looking for an opportunity and you want to be a part of this program,
Yes.
they're looking for some help, for some
Yes.
support, hit them up. Hit them
Yes.
up. All right. So we're going to move into a segment that we do on
Yeah.
damn near every episode.
Okay.
And it's called our Mount Rushmore. Okay?
Okay.
Mike gets very frustrated with this, as you can clearly tell by his physical demeanor.
Yeah, it totally
Okay.
changed.
That's my
It flipped.
emotional intelligence
Yeah.
and reading your
Very good.
nonverbal cues
Your
there.
EQ.
So the way that we do this, and it's kind of, I don't want to say convoluted, because everybody takes it in their own way. So I want you to answer in the way that you want to. Okay.
Okay.
So we were looking for the Mount Rushmore, your top 4. Okay.
Okay.
Now, some people have done all bands. Some people have mixed in like, I just like the one artist from that band because they made a difference in my life, so they're in there.
Okay.
Or you could do all artists. It's entirely up to you at that point.
Okay.
What's your top 4?
Top 4. Corn.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, from early childhood, Jonathan Davis, when I was 12, Floor to Ceiling, Corn. Orgy, just because they were so different.
Yeah.
So different, just a total game changer. Oh man. Shit. Casey Musgraves.
Shout out to Casey.
There you go.
She's just so cool, right? Like she's just so cool, effortlessly. And Sleep Token.
Sleep Token.
Yes. I would say like Sleep Token kind of shuffled in this whole revival for me.
Yeah.
Like I saw them within this moment and it was just totally like a game changer for me. Like just so cool. And like look what they've done now. Like their
Yeah.
new shit, like oh my god.
Yeah.
Well, and I
Yeah.
think the cool thing about Sleep Token is they have such a dynamic sound where it can go any which way they want.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah.
And they pull it off so well.
Yeah.
But their stage, it's like going to see Ghost.
Yeah.
Like it's all about the show.
Yeah.
And the way that you view it and you hear it and feel it. And so it's like they've got this really cool metal heavy look, but they can go anywhere with the music. And it is really cool to listen to. And I'm a huge fan of them as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah.
I don't think we've had Orgy as a top 5.
No. I
Yeah.
would have put that in mine too. I do.
I haven't really given them the time of day in a while
Oh,
since the
man.
90s.
You know, like I don't know, they were just so fucking different when
Yeah.
they came
Oh, they are, yeah.
when they came out. Like they were just not like anything you'd ever heard before. Just such a game changer.
Yeah.
Very bass heavy too.
Yeah,
Yes.
no, very.
Very,
I mean,
very.
you kind of look at them now and you're like, man, you know, like a lot of bands built on that sound.
Yeah.
And I don't think we give them the recognition that they deserve.
yeah.
Oh, I agree.
That was like- that was fantastic,
I think
yeah.
it's Candy Ass album.
One, right?
Yeah.
Yep,
I mean,
yep.
look, if you're gonna do
Love
a
that
cover, you
album.
do it justice or you do it better. And I think they did it better.
They for
Stitches.
sure did, yeah.
They had great songs on that album.
Yeah, that was an awesome album.
Yeah, it was such
just
a good
was.
album.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh shit! I should have said 9 Inch Nails.
You still do it.
You can
Still
still
do
do
it.
it.
It's
Look.
apparently like the Statue of Liberty and
Yeah. Yeah.
the First Continental Congress.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's Gettysburg.
Yeah,
it's any other national treasure.
I would sub Casey Musgraves for 9 Inch Nails.
I was
Okay.
subbing in. All right.
Because I mean Trent Reznor has been pivotal in my entire like life. I think every album has like hit a part of my life in a different way.
Yeah.
There you go.
Like right now, I'm really feeling like the With Teeth album.
Yeah.
But there's been times where like it's been further down the spiral. There's been times where it's just, I mean, it's been different albums at different parts of my life for sure.
It's different journeys each album.
Yeah,
It's so
for
good.
sure.
Well, Chelsea, thank you so
Thank
much.
you
for
very
being
Yeah,
here. This
thanks
was
for
awesome.
having
It
me.
was great to talk to you, and thank you for all the support you've given us.
Yeah, and
the
what you're doing.
opportunity and what you're doing.
Fantastic.
Keep doing it because we're on the same path. We're trying
Huge
to gain
supporters.
traction.
Huge supporters.
and
Thanks.
we've got your back. Okay, so if you
Yeah,
ever need
thanks.
anything, we're here for you.
Yeah.
Need
Likewise.
any other promotion, all that good stuff. Thank you so much for being here.
Yeah, thank
For
you.
all those that tuned in and watched, and shout out to Liquid Death. Not a sponsor, but maybe someday dreams come true.
Not a sponsor. We still love it though.
We still love it though. We'll keep plugging.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chelsea. We'll see
Yeah,
you guys
thank
next
you.
time. Take care.
See ya.